In a world increasingly dominated by smartphones, specialized tools such as Knepex dyeing well bits or Chinese manufactured goods, how does Leatherman plan to maintain its position as the iconic multi-tool brand and remain relevant to the future generations of consumers? Stay tuned for some of my suggestions, and hopefully you will tell me your suggestions. Welcome. This is Haku EDC, and the topic of this Saturday's subject is Leatherman. Several recent events have prompted the creation of this video, which discusses events concerning Leatherman and how might Leatherman move forward. Provide insights about Leatherman Tool Company, a well-known multi-tool company. Additionally, I will present 5 suggestions and would appreciate feedback in the comment section about this video and especially the 5 suggestions. The initial title for this video was Leatherman Pivots Toward Harley Davidson in the 1980s, or is it compact in the early 2000s? But that was changed because it felt too much boomerish. Do people even know what happened to either company in that time frame? Do people even know who compact was? The tools here are illustrate that I have been using Leatherman tools since the 1990s. I got my first Leatherman tool, I think, in 1995, and it was a PST. My newest tool is this Leatherman ArrTEH that I got in December. Over the years, some Leatherman tools have been lost or sold. But last year, I did sell 3 of them. I have lost some along the way, and I've tried to replace them. For full transparency, I will not be purchasing any Leatherman tools in 2025. It's not because I dislike Leatherman, just the opposite. I actually love Leatherman. The purpose of this video is to discuss how the company can continue to succeed and remain relevant for the next 10 plus years. At the beginning of 2025, Leatherman's influence was evident in various ways, not all positive. Retailers such as ArrTEH and others discounted or discontinued some lower and mid-price Leatherman tools. That really began to shake me up. But the other thing is that Leatherman has also increased the price of the Leatherman ArrTEH. Leatherman now sells the Leatherman, I think, P2 and P4 only on Amazon. If you go to the Leatherman site, it says now with their partner of Amazon. So now they're pushing customers directly from their website to Amazon. And the last thing that I noticed at Leatherman is that they're in the process of hiring a VP of product. And my hope is whoever comes on will provide Leathermans with some more energy that is both useful, changing, and also just inspiring them to think about things a little differently. So that's a little bit of my background on why I'm doing this. Recently, online discussions that I've seen have included people talk about some things that are ridiculous. Boycotts, price reductions, suggestion for like changes that are sort of out of this world. Many suggestions appear to be more emotionally driven rather than based on economic consideration of buyers and how buyers' behavior impacts their thinking on Leatherman. These often come from individuals who do not understand that Leatherman's market position or much about Leatherman tools. Here are some observations about the company that drives my thinking about my recommendation. Leatherman is a small family-run business. It has about 300 employees. 300 employees is a modest number. Most people who have jobs at most companies have more than 300 employees. They sell about 40 different products and have over 150 SKUs. So they're selling 140 different objects if you want to include colors, accessories, things like that. Maybe 200 now. Leatherman is very well known in North America. About 80, it is estimated that somewhere around 85% of all Leatherman tools are sold in the North American market. Canada, the US, Mexico are great examples, are places where if you go trades, but people's homes, that they will have some kind of Leatherman tool there. That's pretty good. But its recognition decreases significantly once you leave the North American continent. It basically goes North American content, then mostly English-speaking countries, then Europe, and then basically the rest of the world. And by the time you get to the rest of the world, places in Asia, Africa, there are places that do sell and people that do buy Leatherman tools, but they're very few and far between. There's less so than in other places. For example, I'll give you in regionality piece. For example, inside the U.S., there are companies like PB Swiss and Vessel are not widely known, but they're highly regarded in their respective regions. If you go to like Europe, Central Europe, Western Europe, and talk PB Swiss, people know that brand. Everyone knows that brand. The same with a brand like Wera. In like Asia, people know Vessel, and they know the Vessel brand, and they love those screwdrivers, and I think that really makes people comfortable when they know a brand. They know quote unquote Leatherman. They don't understand what Leatherman really is in many of those countries. Many retailers that previously sold Leatherman's products have merged or gone out of business or are moving their customers to buy from Amazon. There was a time when like Leatherman made special tools for Costco, made special tools for REI, made special tools for Cabela's. Now, where's Cabela's these days? It is merged with a bunch of other outdoor companies. Leatherman only sells their legacy tools, like the Wingman, for instance, and I'm going to talk about this a little later, in the lower price ranges, like below $70. Leatherman, there's a lot of competition in the $30 to $50 range. It is hard for like someone to recommend buy a Leatherman Wingman over a Byberry, a Roxxon, a Gorton tool, or many others in that price range that are in the $50 range that come with superior tools, in essence, more tools than you can get for like something than like this Wingman, which is a tool that I actually like. And that is really impacting Leatherman. And at the top end, Swiss tools is also impacting Leatherman. The Victorinox Swiss tool is actually doing okay. Now, what is Leatherman doing? Adding colors halfway off engraving? That's just not much for what they need to be able to do. And I'm going to talk about that. This Swiss tool, which is in the price range of many of the tools here, like this P4, the Signal, the Surge, the Wave, it's actually selling pretty well. If you go on the YouTube and internet, there are a lot of people who are liking this tool as much as some of the other Leatherman tools. And I think that that's a challenge for them at the top end. That I've sort of laid out what I think some of the issues are, I'm going to lay out what are 5 things that can get them back on track, win them more customers, and re-energize. These 5 things are not things that I've thought up the top of my head, but things that I've reasoned from looking into Leatherman, looking into where their sales are strong and weak in the past. 1, Leatherman should develop exclusive multi-tools for retailers like REI, Smoky Mountain Knife Company, Pro shops or even Costco. They should price them between $70 and $100. These tools are all going to be slightly different one-offs. They they could be Leatherman surge tools that have different colors, better um, scissors on them, or maybe a Signal that actually has scissors with them, but that is distinctive different for them. And they should try to selling them in maybe the $100. I think that they could sell a bunch of those. Leatherman saw good growth when they had exclusive tools in Cabela's and REI, and they had a special tool at Costco. Those things tend to sell. One of the things I've talked about earlier is to reintroduce the juice. I'm going to go a little further than what I talked about in my earlier video about that. I think that the juice needs better pliers, no corkscrews, 420 steel, being sold around the $50 to $60 range. I think that they could sell a bunch of these. I also think that they could make yearly or bi-yearly special juices that are made with something like Magna Cut steel or SV30, and those would sell for almost twice that amount. But I think that there are a lot of people that would love to have a blade that is Magna Cut or a blade that's SV30 that can fit in a fifth pocket with a bunch of nice tools on them. And I think that the juice or something similar to the juice can actually do that. I never got why the Micra, the one with the scissors, are still being sold. So much competition of those out there now, and having just a scissors based product with these crazy tweezers on them, I don't get it. Because of that, I'm going to do number 3. Look at all the tools that are $60 or $70 and below and sort of get rid of them, narrow them down, focus them in. I do know that when the Wingman went on sale, they talked about this was being discontinued at REI. That should tell you something there. This would be kind of a nice device for someone who is getting into EDC. And people that are new to EDC are not looking at the Wingman, the Sidekick, has ones to get. Because, as I stated earlier, a lot of Chinese manufacturers are getting in that price range of $50, and then they're getting decent quality with that. Now, I think that the tariffs are going to hit those hard, and I think that they should. But even if those things went up to $70, which will be close to what the Leatherman Wingman Sidekick kind of go for, they still have better materials and better blades and better cutting materials on them. I'm sorry, but that's the case. I think that Leatherman can actually do some retooling to make their things better, but that's going to be very costly to do. I think that I don't have a bond here, but I think that they should keep the bond because the bond is basically the Leatherman PST updated. And I think a lot of people like that device because it is just a very simple device and it's not very hard to use. It can be given to basically a young person, and that could be a device that they could hold on to quite a while. But the other ones, I'm not sure what they're going to be doing keeping those in place. In fact, what I'm just guessing now, just because of REI and others, some of these lower price ones are going to be gone out of the marketplace. They'll be collector's items. Some will be expensive ones, some won't. Number 4. Now this one is going to hit a whole bunch of people really hard and really differently. Produce multi-tools exclusively in the garage. Stop making knives in the garage. The current garage knife has been there for, I think, 3 months, almost 4 months now. And it looks like a very nice knife, but I don't think that knives are where you are going to be in the future. I would even say something like this knife here, the K series knives, I would limit that to the K4 or K2X with scissors on them. I would now a few things on with this knife. I would do the same thing for this knife too. I would do just the T4 on this one here, where like you have the scissors here. That would make it a much nicer knives to use for people that wanted a knife, who want to do animal slaughtering or just cutting big hunks of meat or wood. Those do a better job than the $300 knives that have been coming out of the garage. In my opinion, knives like the Benchmade Saddle Mountain or the Narps Lulu or even the Buck 19 are as good or better than those knives that are coming out of the garage. Oh my God, what are you saying? Oh my God. I'm just saying that those things are just as good. I want the garage to do something that a few years ago, what they did was they did some spare parts and made a knife, and that you could put a knife together back again. Now that's interesting. That's where a lot of companies are looking to go. Things that are a little bit more interchangeable. And I'm surprised that people, the Crunch and other multi-tools, and why they didn't keep making those. What stopped them from making those particular items? I don't understand it. I don't get it. But making those items would be a great idea. I understand that the Free Series came out of some of the development in the garage, and that's been somewhat a success, hit and miss. Technology wise, I love my IP4. I like it as much as any other thing that I have here. The only thing that I've carried more than that is my Surge. I carried that literally every day for about 10 years at one point. I had a first generation Surge, and I carried that before I carried this one. I like that. It's easy to use. It's easy to open. It doesn't have any spare parts to lose. If you want to clip with it, you can take the clip on or off. It just makes things so much easier. Now, the Leatherman Arc is just a derivative nature of that with a much better blade on it. This blade is probably the best blade on any multi-tool that is out there right now. And because it is the best blade, it is going to sell well, and it's going to be used by people in the marketplace. Because this is a blade that you get it, you use it hard for a couple months, and then you have to resharpen it, but then you don't have to sharpen it for quite a while. Oh, I just almost hurt myself. You don't have to sharpen again for quite a while. Um, that just makes it so nice and so great of a blade to use. So once again, I'm going to go through four, then I'm going to go through my last one. I'm going to repeat four and then go through my last one. I want to focus in on that a little bit more. Develop exclusive multi-tools for retailers. That could be done, and get those priced around $100. I think that you would sell a lot. Reintroduce things like the juice, and do one in like 428 AHC steel, and then do a limited run every year or every 2 years in like a Magna Cut or S330 version of it. I think a lot of people would like, as I stated, something like a fifth pocket tool with a great steel on it. 3. Discontinued a lot of your multi-tools that are less than $70. And I think that you're beginning to do that, but just sort of phase them out. The competition in that area is just so hard right now. Even with severe tariffs that come in place, you're still going to be hard hit with those. We all have to remember that even though a lot of Leatherman assembled tools, and some of them are American made and American assembled, But a lot of the stuff comes from outside the US also. And so don't be surprised if some of their tools become, their lower price tools become more expensive. One quick thing, someone asked me the other day if they were just getting into Leatherman and what would be the first tool to get. And I asked them what they wanted. And I said to them is that they get just a skull tool because you have both the pliers and you have a knife and you have some other options with it, including getting the bits here. Makes a difference what people are going to do in the future. This scale tool is so much closer to a Surge or a Leatherman Arc or even the P4 without the bits itself than it is with some of those earlier ones, that people will understand that this is clearly a lighter weight tool and that some of these other tools that are going to be more expensive are going to be heavier weight tools. But I do like this has an entry level tool. I used to suggest that people get the Wingman, but now there's just so many good out of USA tools that it's hard for me to recommend the Wingman or Sidekick. Now, number 5. I don't know if Leatherman has ever done this. I don't remember them ever doing this, but establish a third party affiliate network. The first network should be of people who create accessories. There's a bunch of people, Kristen Van Patten, ArrTEH, Rodriqo, they're involved, and others are involved in creating some great tools, such as things like this and this at the end of this, the hammer here, that it's going to be something that really gets people involved in Leatherman. If you look at people that work in things like the game space, the outdoor rec space, whether it's clothing, whether it's gaming, technology, there's affiliate network of people that build things around it. That affiliate network of people that keeps that label alive, keep those things alive. Leatherman should embrace those more. There also are people that really can help Leatherman think outside the box to the next level. They should start doing that right now. And I truly believe that that would be a success. And that's a success. I think that they should consider adding affiliate relationships for groups of people who are in the trades. I'm not sure if it's a tradesman's or trades people group or trades people union or some in between group. I don't know. I think that they should have a relationship with those people so that they can help build the next generation of Leatherman tools. They have a lot of things to offer. There are lots of knife companies that go to people in like the military, that go to people in law enforcement, that go to people who hunt, and then they build their knives around what they hear from that group of people. I'm not sure that Leatherman is doing that, or doesn't they're doing that in a way that I would hope that they would do that. I will give you an example that people don't even realize they take for granted. One of the big things about podcasting that grew, which later created things like YouTube, is that there was this little device that was created on an iPod that people can actually download little voice programs. And it wasn't part of the original Apple ecosystem. A third created that. That has spawned so much stuff. This whole network, everything from TikTok to Instagram, that was from people from the adding third party thinking to it. So, number 5, establish a third party affiliate network. Begin with people who are creating the accessories. talk to them, get feedback from them. You may even want to just let them create accessories and you don't do those things your own self. I mean, I understand that that's a loss of money, but if you can get a group of people to be enthusiastic about your products, you can sell a lot of those products. Then adding affiliates with tradespeople and people who do mods. There are hundreds of people who do mods of tools, who do Frankenstein tools, who change out blades. That group of people can give you thinking about what's coming next, what you should want to think about next, what people are looking for. You aren't Victorinox, where Victorinox, they have hundreds of different knives and tools, and then they flip one blade, change it off to something else and call it something else. They have so many different variants that there's one that someone trying to pick out. There's still people who are doing those people that are doing modding of scales, modding of blades. If you go on YouTube, you go on Instagram, you go on Reddit, that's a really vibrant community and it's helping them so much. So those are my 5 items. Tell me if you agree or disagree. What would you add? What would you change? Put it in like the comments. I really want to hear. I really do. Now, I want to give some sobering facts because I truly need your help here. I'm a small YouTuber. I'm an old guy. I've got a few hundred subscribers. To spread my message, this message about Leatherman, I need your help sharing or repeating these suggestions. I am not, the other thing, I am not the main or ideal Leatherman 2029 customer. I'm older. I'm less likely to buy a Leatherman product because my need for that is pretty much lessened, or not necessarily gone, but significantly lessened. What I'm talking about are people who are much younger than I am, getting them involved with Leatherman traditions, Leatherman legacies, and Leatherman's future. So spread this around, let people know about it, give me comments about what you're thinking that I've stated. In the future, I'm going to talk some more about Leatherman, and I've got something that's come about the Leatherman accessories that people have. There are some fantastic accessories. You see some out there now. I've got a few things that you can clearly see, but a bunch of stuff here that you can't see. If you want to see my video about bringing back the Leatherman juice, which I did, please click here. And then you can see it and comment about what you think that I'm doing. This is Haku EDC. This is Saturday's subject was around Leatherman. Please like, subscribe, and share. I'll see you in the future.